Hey everybody, this is Sage Steele here, host of the Sage Steele Show. You are watching the Chris Gunther Show. Enjoy.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome to the Chris Gunther Show. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to like and share this video. I would greatly appreciate it. On today's show, we are honored and privileged to have the one and only Sage Steele from the Sage Steele Show. What's going on with you?
How you doing? I'm so glad you had me on, and everybody doesn't need to know about the technical issues. So thank you for your
No.
patience.
I appreciate it. Well, thank you so much for taking this time out. Very busy woman and somebody that's had a really great career in this broadcasting space. Like, can you take me to everything that you're doing now with your podcast?
Yeah, it's been a cool change. It's been almost 7 months. I'm on a little hiatus right now, getting through election season and kind of crushing on that. And my schedule's crazier than ever before, but my show has been super cool because I'm all about having conversations. I think that's what's missing in our world, in particular in America today, is true conversations with people like we're about to have. And I think that, God, everybody's so angry and negative. And usually when you stop, and you slow down and you actually talk to somebody, you realize, oh, okay, I might not agree with them, but their experience, our experiences is what shapes our opinions. And so when you actually talk to somebody and hear their why, and also hear like the human element, right, versus just an opinion or something, you learn a lot. And so my goal, even when I was on SportsCenter for all those years, was always to have a conversation. It's hard to do when you have a 4-minute live segment on national TV versus 60 or 90 minutes on a podcast where you can get comfortable and forget that there's cameras almost. You're just talking. And so that was always my goal. It's been awesome to be able to do it with so many different people, from, Dana White to Aries Spears to Tyrus to Sharon Osbourne to RFK Jr., like a real diverse group. And I'm just honored that they've trusted me.
Trust is key because everybody does not do everyone's show. Everybody is not trustworthy, but how great does that feel for you to know that people will want to come onto your platform because they feel that they can trust you and you provide that safe haven?
Yeah, thank you. And that's what it has literally meant so much to me. And because I'm new, right? I'm not an established podcast. Some people knew who I was just from, many, many, many years because I'm old at ESPN. And then social media helps. And I've always been pretty open on social media as far as like a behind the scenes look, whether it's with my kids and my kids fighting, or the dog pooping in the living room, or me complaining because I got to shovel snow, which is why I just moved here to Florida.
Wise
Like,
choice.
yeah, I've always been really open about my private life for the most part, because I feel like when you understand someone as a person versus just what you might see in a headline or a quick video clip with no context, again, that's where I think, have our biggest problem in this country. And trust is everything. I'm trying to build it. I'm still trying to build.
We're living in a time now where you can really create your own narrative. Back in the day, you had to really sit back and watch somebody talk about you, and athletes or entertainers for that aspect had to really sit back and listen to everybody say stuff about them, whether it was true or not. But nowadays, we're in this day and age where you can really create your own narrative. How powerful is that, especially with everything that you've been able to accomplish?
Well, I love that for athletes. I really do, because back in the day, before social media, before internet was like as big, again, I'm aging myself. I remember talking to so many of the guys. In particular, remember Bart Scott,
Oh,
um, uh,
yes.
the linebacker with the Jets, but he was drafted by the Baltimore Ravens when I was there. And I remember talking to him because on Wednesdays, that's like the big media day in the NFL, right? And so I remember chatting with him while we're waiting for Ray Lewis. And there's a whole, 20 reporters waiting around Ray Lewis's locker for him to walk out whenever he was ready. And Bart's like, how do I get to be to that point, like Ray, where you guys are all waiting for me? And I was like, well, number one, be great, right? Be great,
Right.
like Ray, the greatest ever to play football, much less that position as linebacker. And number two, talk and be open. And don't just talk when you win or when you have 3 sacks. You gotta talk when you miss the tackle too, that won the game for the other team, and like be open and genuine, and share. Like when you're vulnerable, I'm not saying you need to go tell all your life stories, but
Right.
people recognize you as a human being, not just an athlete or a broadcaster, right? And so, yeah, from there, you're able to create your own narrative by saying it with your words and not allowing a reporter. I've said for years too to these guys and women too, but back in the day, mainly just men that I worked with in NFL, NBA, NHL, Major League Baseball. I get why people don't trust the media. I get it. And then I have personally experienced when the media takes things the wrong way because they want to paint you a certain way. So I always get it. So that's why I'm like, you take control of that yourself by using your words and speaking and not allowing somebody to, like, it's different in print broadcast versus TV. It's harder to edit when it's my face, right? But if it's words on just a recorder, then those writers can tweak things too. So anyway, I think there's so much more power now for these athletes, social media in particular. Can it go awry? Yeah. Remember KD, Kevin Durant
Oh
with his
yeah.
like burner account, and a whole bunch of people have that too. I love letting people speak for themselves. That's what I always tried to do at ESPN. It's tough to do at a major network. That's what I'm trying to do now on my own.
You had a great run at ESPN, but we all know that it didn't start from there. Can you share with us a little bit about your background?
Yeah, man. I mean, I was 11 when I announced to my parents that I wanted to be a sportscaster. Like, I've known this since I was a little girl, and I was really shy. Like, believe it or not, I was so shy, and I still am in some ways. I just know how to work through it, believe it or not.
I know all
Um,
about it.
okay, there you go. Like, it's people just think you just were born this way where you can talk. And no, I still and I I live alone. My kids, I have all three kids and they're all in college this year for the first time. So I'm officially an empty nester, but like I live and I do things, I travel and I work alone. And so I've had to work through that shyness so you're not always alone, right? And it's
Right.
actually been super healthy. But so I had to just change if I wanted to achieve this dream. And then college, I went to Indiana University in a sports broadcasting major there. And then my first jobs were in South Bend, Indiana, at the CBS affiliate then in Indianapolis, the ABC affiliate in Tampa, Fox Sports Net Florida in Central Florida, back up to DC, Comcast Sportsnet for 6 years. And then I went to ESPN in 2017, Sports Center, and then, a little bit of everything, NBA, of course, back to my roots in Sports Center. I was there for almost 17 years. So 29 years total as a TV person. And now we're changing things up and doing it on my own. And it's really crazy.
What has surprised you the most during this transition period that you're in?
Um, that's a great question. What has surprised me the most? I think what has surprised me the most is the number of people who come up to me daily, no matter where I am, and say that they watch, they listen, they see what I'm trying to do, and that thank me for taking a chance on myself and not just staying quiet because it was safer and certainly would have been, less expensive. And yeah, just I think the media and the internet and social media want you to believe one thing
Right.
and they put you in a box and then they want to portray you as one way. And then what I've found in real life is so many people it's not about agreeing and having the same opinions. It's about just seeing someone else's opinion based on their experiences, their life, what they're doing. And I cannot believe the number of people that literally stop me so much more than when I was on national TV every single day at ESPN. It's brought me to tears at times because people are so kind. And it's funny, the haters, the trolls online,
Oh
they're
yes.
they don't do any of it. I can sometimes I can feel it. They'll look and they'll look at. They don't say anything in your face. They don't have the what to do it. But the number of people who are grateful for me not running away and not, yeah, like choosing to use the platform for what I feel is good, especially with like women's sports and this transgender debate, which shouldn't be. And that's been shocking to me because for a while you start to believe that everybody hates you
Right.
and so many more good, normal people, just like in the middle, who just want freedom for everybody and to be kind and you do you and I'm gonna do me. Like there's a lot more good than bad. And I think it's been a beautiful reminder, but it wouldn't have happened had I not left ESPN and taken a chance on myself.
Sometimes the hardest thing to do is to leave what's been familiar, and it's to leave
Exactly.
what has
Comfortable.
been comfortable, because it's comfortable. You like, I know where to go here. I know who to talk to here. And then when you all of a sudden you say, okay, it's time to transition and it's time to do your own thing, it can be scary. What would be like the best piece of advice that you would give to anybody that is in transition, especially in this media space?
Yes. Well, you have to be clear with what you want. And it took me a long time to figure out what I want. And I'm still figuring it out in some ways because maybe that's the other surprise is that I had no idea how big this world was, like away from corporate television.
Right.
It is a big world, as you know, you've been doing this longer than I have, right? I mean, oh my gosh. It's overwhelming in some ways. I didn't know what opportunities would come my way. I've been surprised at that. I think the one piece of advice, I guess, would be to get comfortable being uncomfortable. Nick
Mm-hmm.
Saban said that to me once when he was still at Alabama. And it was not to me per se, it was during an interview. And I've never forgotten it. And I've realized I've gotten really good at being uncomfortable and being scared, but continuing to push through it. And every single time you choose to push through something, you get a little bit more confidence. And sometimes it's subconscious, you don't even realize it. And the next time you're like, okay, I survived the last time. It hurt, but I'm gonna try it again. And every time you're like, dude, they canceled me, they tried, but I still woke up the next day and I'm still here. And you realize you can't listen to other people, get uncomfortable, be okay being disliked, because that hurts, especially if you're a pleaser, like I've been my whole life. And now I'm like, bring it, guys. I have no fear. If I could get through some of the other stuff, I'm good.
100%. I think one of the most misconceptions in this space is that everybody has to be your friend. And that's just impossible to do because we're human. Everybody's not going to like everybody. But as long as you can stay solid on your end, that's the most important thing. You
Yes.
have hit adversity through the ups and the downs in your career. But how have you been able to just keep putting one foot in front of the other and keep going? Like, how have you been able to do that?
A couple of ways. I mean, first and foremost, I believed everything that I was saying. I believed it genuinely. And I've continued to say this. Our opinions are based on our experiences. So no one can tell me I'm wrong if that's how I feel based on something that did or didn't happen, you know?
Hmm.
So when I believed in my core that I'm right, whether it be I got in trouble for talking about vaccine mandates. There's a difference between a vaccine conversation and a vaccine mandate conversation. And I had a problem with the mandates. And I was, at ESPN, whatever. It's a deep drama, right? But I was forced to
Right.
apologize for that. And I only apologized and I regret it. But I apologized because I was threatened with being fired. And if I didn't apologize, I'd be fired. And how am I I'm a divorced mom of three kids and I'm 100% responsible financially for everybody, 100%. So I had a choice, but not if I wanted a paycheck to support these kids. And like I said,
Right.
I got three in college this year. Like I needed that paycheck,
Right.
and so, oh my gosh, um I knew I was right. I had to apologize and that sucked, but I knew I was right and that no one should be forced to do something to their body. And so you can hate me for it, but to me, I believed what I was saying. With race, I've had controversy because of race and what people believe I meant or have said. And, you can't control how people receive things. I will always be so proud of my diverse background, of my Black father and my white mother, and what they went through to um, get married, stay married. And on October 16th, yesterday was my parents' 53rd wedding anniversary.
Longevity.
Right. And so I am blessed to have grown up in such a diverse background. And I'm not going to be told by the Black community to choose only Black when I'm both. Like, you call me what you want. And I am a proud Black woman and a biracial woman too, right? My mom counts too. And I refuse to be told how to identify based on what you believe for yourself. So I give those examples because those are things that got me in trouble and brought on a lot of adversity for speaking my truth. And then it got to the point where it's like, no, I'm going to stand up for myself. Like, you're going to crush me because I don't fit in your little mold. Oh, okay. But then my daughter can go to school and literally in a public high school in Connecticut, one of her friends was a girl one day, a boy the next day, and then a cat the next day. So we were okay with everybody identifying with crazy things that aren't true.
Mhm.
But it is true with me being a woman that's black and white. And that's me, and I'm proud. So that's the thing, is to stay true to who I am, despite what has come at me, despite the pain, despite loss of friendships, despite loss of a ton of relationships with employers, with coworkers, with neighbors, and what I thought were friends. And so I've stayed true to myself, and that's key, especially when we preach that, but don't practice it in this country. And
Right.
number two, my faith. My faith, I've always had a strong faith, but it has never been stronger. Trust me, I'm a work in progress, but I was so scared for so long, scared to be myself because I thought, oh my gosh, Black America's not going to like me if I say this about my white mom, who I am in love with as much as my father, right? And
Right.
so I just realized, like, God created me this way. And so I'm going to rock that. I'm going to own that. And there's a lot of biracial kids out there who are confused and told they have to choose. I'm like, God hasn't told me to choose. And so at my lowest moments, my faith, I've gotten some incredible signs, like obvious, blatant, slap you in the face signs from God. And it's funny, when I tell my parents about them, my mom, she's like, just in life in general, she's like, you're so fortunate to have experienced those signs from God that people ask for every day and don't receive. And I got them. So I'm okay being disliked. I'm okay with those things because I know that there's someone much more important that does think I'm okay and
Right.
has continued to somehow allow me to have a platform and allow me to have, um, I don't know if courage is the right word, but just the lack of fear to keep speaking when it would have been a lot easier to just be quiet and keep getting that paycheck. But my faith has kept me going, and I'm 52. Almost in November, I'll be 52,
Don't even
and
look like it. Black don't
I'm
crack.
thank you. I'll take that from my Black father. That's for damn sure. But I, I literally, I don't know. I'm just so grateful for all of it, and I hope that, well, first, like I was saying, I need my mom and dad, no matter how old you are, whoever your people are, don't be afraid to call on them because they want to be there for you. And I just hope that my little story, helps others not wait as long as I did to be okay being myself.
As we're getting ready to transition, and I understand that, hey, it's been a great time on this conversation we've been having, but you're a busy woman, so I know you got to get ready to jet. But, as we all have transitioned and you have things coming up on this, on your podcast, on your show, what are some of the things that the fans can be expecting and they can look forward to?
It's a great question because I'm a kind of like, I'm taking it, like I said, a little bit of a hiatus to get through the election, et cetera. Um, my goal will continue to be to have deep, good, important conversations with all different kinds of people. I hope more people will say yes. There are people who have different opinions from me who have said, nope, I'm not going to talk to her, which to me defeats the purpose of us kind of coming together as a country.
Hmm.
So I hope more people say yes and can have a good, kind conversation. But to go deep, I have found that whenever I have shared some of my crap, whether it's personal or professional, I have gained so much from it because it's a little therapeutic to tell your story at times when people ask. But most importantly, the feedback I've received is amazing because people realize they're not alone.
Right.
I told you about, having to like being divorced, but I still was going on TV every single day on national TV, rocking it because I love my job and I respected what I was doing and my teammates so much. Like, everybody's got personal stuff going on, but you better focus, right? But when I shared a couple times about that after, um, the number of people, they're like, wait a minute, you too? Because you can look at somebody on TV or on their podcast and be like, oh wow, look, she got good makeup and she's got good hair and she's talking to cool people, da, 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 and oh, she's got this platform and yay. Okay, that might be true, but there's a real human being in
That's
us
right.
as well. And so when you're not afraid to share, others win too. And that's what I've loved doing on my show. And I hope to continue the point of your question here to continue to provide a space where people can talk about things that maybe are uncomfortable or painful or scary or really funny too, because vulnerability is what I think is the key and what we all need to keep doing. You realize you're not alone and you're
That's right.
helping others by sharing. So that's what I hope to continue to do on my show is to give people that space. And I've been so honored with some of the stories. If you haven't, I would say one of the podcasts I've gotten the most feedback from is Tyrus, who does, he works at Fox News. He's on Gutfeld at night and he's hysterical. He's a comedian, former WWE, football player in college. And what he shared with me, I had no idea.
Hmm.
And he went on the terrible abuse that he endured as a child and then witnessed his mother enduring. And then when his mother chose to give him and his brother up at like 8 years old, like gave them up. And this 350-pound, brilliant, strong man was in tears on my show. He chose to go there and share it. And I have people everywhere, airports, golf tournaments, stopping
Right.
me saying, and so that's what lets me know, Chris, that I'm doing the right thing by having conversations and sharing. Because people are like, oh, look at Tyrus. He's on Fox News. He's a sellout. No, no. Have you listened to him? Number one. And number two, do you know his why? You have a why as to why you're doing your show. We all have a why and we all are humans. And I'm just trying to remain really genuine to my core in that way. I'm a very genuine person in general because that's how I was raised. And
Absolutely.
I have the best parents who I talk to literally every single day, by the grace of God. And I just pray that that never changes. I'm going to pretend like it will never change. Uh, but it's just that's what I need to keep doing. And people are like, well, you need to go quicker and talk about this and go viral here or there. And I'm like, I know, I get it, right? I get what this industry, this side of it is about. But I don't ever want to stop telling people stories because that is so important. I'm on an airplane or a train or walking down the street here, and you see people and you're like, I wonder what their story is. I wonder how they became homeless. I wonder how they became a CEO. I wonder what their pain is because it all looks good, but everybody's got something. And I'm so curious about people and I want to help share.
And I appreciate you for sharing a lot of what you have dealt with, but also I appreciate you for sharing a little bit of hope. For guys like myself that are on the rise and still trying to, in a sense, break through in this space, it's not an easy thing. It's not an easy thing at all. But I feel like there's always that, something that reminds you that you're on the right path. And there's something that
Yeah.
reminds you that you're literally on the right track. And I feel like a conversation like this reminded me today that I'm on the right track. If anybody
Yes,
wanted
sir.
to connect with you or learn more about you, how can they do that?
Yeah, it's just honestly, it's just my social media, my Instagram. And listen, I'm silly and I'm a little controversial with stuff too. And I'm an idiot. And I tell my kids how funny I am. They're like, no, you're not. Nice try. I'm like, yes, I am. Someday when I'm dead, you'll realize I was really funny and really cool, but that's fine. And then of course, Sage Steele Show on YouTube, and it's an audio podcast as well, not just video. But I'm a TV girl, so I'm like, okay, put all the cameras up and let's go. Because when you can see people's emotions, not just hear it, I do think that that makes a difference. So, yeah, it's just Sage Steele or the Sage Steele Show on all the social channels. And I want to tell you again, like you are doing it. You're really good. Your questions are very good and genuine. And the most important thing that I've noticed over the last 20, 25 minutes is that you listen. Do you know how many people have interviewed me and I can tell that it's like, okay, they got their next question ready, go, 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 especially if you were on a little time crunch. But you listened to what I said and reacted, like the very first thing about trust. And then you began by talking about trust. So if you don't listen, I think people eventually see that and don't want to come on your show and don't want to have those conversations because they realize you're not fully paying attention. So you're already well on your way. And no, I appreciate you reaching out. I really do.
Thank you. This has been a lot of fun. Wish we had more, a little bit of time, but Lord willing, we can reconnect again. Ladies and gentlemen, Sage Steele on the Chris Gunther Show. Thank y'all so much for watching. Cue my theme song. I'll check y'all next time.
Thank you, Chris.